Yeah, I'm not talking about yeah, but I West I know the Miranda. Okay, no what?
So, hello, and a very warm welcome to all of you. Good evening. It's a wonderful Saturday evenings at 8:30 Central Time here. Very happy on behalf of KDL TV to welcome you on the show. Tonight, we're going to talk about what's happening in the country and more specifically in Brooklyn Park here in the state of Minnesota. Brooklyn Park is the largest city and county with the largest immigrants from around the world. And we are honored today to have three candidates who are running for the position of city council in that city. So happy to have on the show Boyd Molson, who's also running for the city council. We also have Henry Momani, community organizer, running for the same position, and also Benjamin Osman, who will be helping us really have a good understanding of what is it that they're doing and what they hope to achieve if elected. So happy to bring them on the screen right now. So if you don't, although Ben on my end, I'm frozen. So if you don't mind, guys, go ahead and introduce yourself. Let's begin with you, Henry. If you don't mind introducing yourself for or to our viewers.
I think I'm frozen too. All right,
Okay.
thank you. Yeah, and yeah, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I want to thank you, KDL TV, for giving us this opportunity to talk to our people in Brooklyn Park. I want to tell you one thing, my ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, we are here to appeal for your votes. We are the candidates who want to represent your views, and you know we are 10 days away from elections. To start with, my name is Henry Momani, originally from Kenya. I came to this country in 1998, and I've been living in Minneapolis, Minnesota, for the last 20 years. And my work is entirely focused on community. I have master's in business administration, and I'm the executive director of Global Health Services. My office is in Brooklyn Park. My area of expertise are on early intervention navigator and community outreach. The reason why I'm running as a city council member from the city of Brooklyn Park is because of my experience in the community. For the last 20 years, I've been working in the community, and I have seen all the challenges that our people are facing, doing the same thing all the time, expecting, results. I came to realize that we need to move or change tactic. That's why I'm running as a council member of the city of Brooklyn Park. The city of Brooklyn Park is a diverse city. It has got all people from diverse immigrant community. And I've been working with all these people, and I know their problems. I know their challenges. Tonight, I present myself as a candidate for Brooklyn Park West District so that I can be on the table where the issues are decided, where decisions are made. Mark my words, ladies and gentlemen, you cannot do something the same way all the time and expecting changes. I come to offer some solutions. My expertise in the community speaks volumes. I'm ready, if I'm elected, to hit the road running. You can know I have professional experience in community. mental health first aid responder, community navigator, and when it comes to health issues, that's the area that I've ventured and I've focused and I've worked in the last 15 plus years. So tonight, I'm appealing to you. If
Mhm.
you are eligible to vote, you need to vote. Elections are very important to take part. Your vote matters. Elections matters. Your decisions matters. If you don't vote, I can tell you one thing. It doesn't make any difference. But if you vote, it makes a difference. So tonight we are here to share our experiences and the solutions that we want to bring on board that are facing our people in the Brooklyn Park city. Thank you and welcome all.
Okay, so
Thank you.
thank you, Henry. Okay, thank you, Henry, for that introduction. Obviously, we'll have enough time for you to really tell the people in Brooklyn Park why you're running and what is it that you're going to do. But let's go ahead and also introduce the other panelists. And I'm going to go to the center and introduce Boyd Malson. Boyd, if you don't mind introducing yourself to our viewers, please.
Good evening, and good evening to your listeners and watchers, viewers. Thank you guys for hosting this opportunity for us to be able to lend our voices to the citizens of Brooklyn Park and surrounding community to let them know who we are. I'm Boyd Morrison. I've been in Brooklyn Park for 20 years, married for 35 years, three beautiful kids, three excellently beautiful grandkids, and I have an adopted Liberian daughter. I'm stepping up once again. I'm a U.S. Navy honorary discharge veteran that stepped up to serve you, your family, in this country. Trained and prepared for moments of civil unrest, controversies, and challenges. And as we know, that's when the bold, the brave, and the courageous step up to defend our country and the people that's in it. In the midst of these challenges that we face today, I'm stepping up to serve you, your family, and this city by being a voice in face of the conversations that we need to have, that we are not having, that again we need to have to unite our community to give us a pathway forward as one united Brooklyn Park. Respectfully but directly, I just can't do this by myself. I'm asking for you guys vote and support November the 3rd for the Central District. Thank you.
Thank you, Boyd, and by the way, on behalf of KDR TV, thank you for your service to the country, and obviously appreciate your family for letting you do this. Public life, obviously, is not easy, but appreciate the family for letting you do this, and we're also happy to share you with them as well. So let's also go ahead and have Benjamin Osman. I have a difficult time pronouncing that last name, and I apologize. Please introduce yourself to our viewers as well.
Thank you very much. Um, like the moderator said, my name is Benjamin Osemenam, and I come before you and I thank the KDR TV for hosting us. I come before you tonight knowing that we are going through trying time, and I hope you and your family are well and safe. I say to you in this troubling time, peace be with you. And to my Swahili speaking people, I say Amani Iwe Yahweh. And to my Somali speaking people, I say Nabot Uara. And to my Igbo speaking people, I say Ndibani Udo Derunu. And to my Oromo speaking people, I say Negenyi Esin Waji Ha Jiratu. You see, these are some diverse community that we have in Brooklyn Park. And I have been a resident of Brooklyn Park since 1988. And I'm a registered engineer with the state of Minnesota. And I work for the Minnesota. I have a BS in civil engineering, a master's in business administration, and also master's in infrastructure system engineering and management. I've been a community coordinator. I'm currently a board of trustee at St. Alphonsus Catholic Church. I've been involved in so many community activities, And I am running for the city council because I love Brooklyn Park. You see, when I bought my house in 1992, as the first time owning a home, I bought my lawnmower, and one afternoon, being so excited for owning a home, I started mowing lawn, and I mowed my lawn and that of my neighbor as well. When I was mowing my neighbor's lawn, he said, "Oh, Ben, you don't have to do that." I said, "Yes, I know, but I want to do it." Fast forward later, when I wanted to have my roof replaced, my neighbor's name, is Mark. I went to Mark and I asked him, I said, "Mark, do you have somebody to recommend to help me with my roof?" And he said, "Oh, no, me and Craig, his son, can do that for you." I was taken aback. And also, I've had several times my other neighbor by name Jim coming over when there is heavy snowstorm because I don't have a snowblower at the time. And at work, I'll be dreading how I'm going to shovel the snow. When I got back, I see that my driveway has been cleared. Why am I sharing this? See, that is the love that existed when I moved to my home. And over the years, I've seen this love being
Okay.
replaced with hate and division. And I'm running to revamp that love, to let love of God and love of neighbor come alive again in our communities. And I can only do that with your help and vote. And I come to you tonight to ask for your vote and to let love trump hate and division in our communities. Thank you.
Thank you, Benjamin. Thank you for the three of you. Good introduction, obviously, on the community. So proud of you. Thank you for doing this, and you have the support of the community. But let's go further in details, and I'm going to bring in Molson. I didn't give you a chance to. I think Henry and Benjamin have explained why they're running for the position for which they're seeking. For you, let's begin with you. Why are you running for that specific position? And if you don't mind sharing with our viewers, what are the two major challenges that you faced during your campaign?
Well, I'm running to continue to be the voice of the people. The people that don't have to look like me, people don't have to be where I'm from, people don't have to speak my same language or even share my own thoughts or the same thoughts. I'm running to represent the diverse population of people that we have in our Brooklyn Park community, which we are the largest expanded demographically mixed community in the region in the past 35 years. And yet we deserve to be represented at City Hall, to have some leadership down there that's just bold, brave, and courageous to step up to the odds, adversity, and challenge that one may face as a result of making an effort to try to unite our community together by those opposed thinking it's still Brooklyn Park 50, 40, 30, and even 20 years ago, which is not. We have grown, matured, and we have advanced to who we are today. Yet our true living realities are not being challenged, faced, and or readily addressed here in Brooklyn Park with the current leadership that we have here in our community. Yet I'm stepping up once again to serve you because I care and because you matter. So I'm stepping up again. Some of the challenges that we face here is are challenging taking on the issues of policing in our community. There's been many, many conversations about policing and their conduct and behavior, good and bad. Therefore, I'm looking to transform and reform the police uh, practicing here to get back to good policing, community policing, the days of community policing that we all deserve and demand in our particular community. Also, building a bridge that begins to unite our community, allowing free access to all, free from restrictions, free from prejudice, free from preconceived notions and ideas about someone else, free to explore the same opportunities that anyone else are welcome, deserving to be had in this particular community. From jobs, opportunities to any type of resources that we have, we need to make that bridge of flowing where people can walk freely throughout our community without any preconceived notions and no ideas or pointing fingers at them just because a color of somebody's skin. So I'm stepping up to be that bold, brave, and courageous voice. As I stepped up to serve this country once again, I was trained and prepared for moments like this, and I'm stepping once again up to serve you, your family in this city, in these moments to become the voice and face of the conversations again that we're not having, that we need to have here in Brooklyn Park. And thank you once again.
Okay, thank you, Molson. I think you put sorry, noise in the background. Thank Okay. So thank you. Let's get to you, Henry. Henry, I know you're an excellent community organizer. During your campaign, what are the two greatest challenges that you faced as you hope to be elected in the next or within the next 10 days?
Professor Okari, for that question. And for the last few days that I've been, trying to get people to, to share my mission and vision, why am I learning? First, to speak head on, I learn on three issues. My platform is on three issues majorly: housing, public safety, and education. In all my time that I've been in the community, I have experienced, I've witnessed the challenges that our people face. And those challenges, I am part of it. I also face them actually, initially. But now when I'm learning my programs, I sometimes feel so, intimidated that why am I not able to solve these problems? Our people are facing so many challenges, especially at these hard times of COVID-19. For example, now housing. Our people lost a job. They are not working because of the mandatory, the state issued a lockdown. And our people, some of them, they never made it back to work. They lost jobs. Now, when it comes to housing, they're supposed to pay rent. They're supposed to pay mortgage. And when you find that, if you don't have, if you miss, if you are not sleeping in the house, everything becomes into what? You can't think. It affects you the whole day. In fact, in so many ways, it affects somebody's life. You can't go to work and work normal because you didn't sleep nice. Kids. So housing is a very important point that we need to fix right now. And at this time, I'm learning on housing, education, and public safety. On housing, if I'm elected, I will try to, propose a housing moratorium, rental moratorium, that people should not be evicted from their houses because they are not able to pay the rent, simply because they lost their job. On those people who own houses, they should not be, there should not be home foreclosure. And how are we going to fix this? Because the council members, they legislate. We will want to, through the city of Broken Park and the city council and the banks and other businesses that, provide these services, we will want to come have, a town hall meeting, discuss about the way forward. Because if they don't listen to us, the city council people who registrate, then we cannot approve any investment they want to put in the city of Broken Park. So on housing, I would try to solicit my other council members. And then we talk to other stakeholders on how we can fix the problem of housing on rental. And then for foreclosure, for home foreclosure, we need to discuss with the bank on what is the best way forward. And if they agree with us, then we'll discuss on how we can give them a reward for, accepting on this, on tax, credit for those people who accepted to give this, to accept the people not to be, evicted, and for banks not to, foreclose the houses. When it comes to public safety, This is a problem which has been in the community for a long time. Not
Mr. Benjamin, can you go ahead? I think they had an issue, so just go ahead and give you give your policies on why you are running. As we still waiting for Momani and Jeremiah. Thank you.
Okay. Uh, yeah. Now, are you talking about some of the challenges? I'm sorry, Professor. I can't hear you. Well, I'm going to assume that I'm addressing the same question that was posed to Henry on some of the challenges uh, that I face. Well, I don't really face. Yeah. My in my campaign flyer, my motto is a new voice to walk the talk with the community. And since primary, and even before then, when I ran in 2010, I have listened to the voice of the community to figure out what they really need and what I see that we really need in our city. There are so many of them. But for the sake of time, I will point to our affordable housing, our property taxes, and getting our businesses actually to be part of the city contracts. and incentives. But first, let's look at the affordable housing. As my brother Henry mentioned, we intend to work together. And yes, I have a plan to resolve some of the problems that Henry mentioned, and that is the high rent, mortgages. But in addition to that, our brothers and sisters whose homes are not properly kept. And how am I going to do that? Well, I intend to partner with the state and Ramsey County to create an expanded 4D program, a program that has been tested, that's being used in Ramsey County, that actually lowers the rent of people, not increase it, as the city's program is currently purporting to do. And also provide assistance to our retired elderly who are on fixed income, blue-collar workers, and low-income residents of Brooklyn Park. So there won't be a need to get to foreclosure because the mortgage assistance is there ready, for them. All we need to do is adopt a program that's been tested and is currently being used in Ramsey County. The other part has to do with the upkeep of rental properties. With the housing issue, most houses got foreclosed. A lot of houses got foreclosed, and people that bought those properties rented them out. But what they are doing is just collecting rents and not keeping the properties up. If I'm elected, I will create a monitoring program with steeper penalties for landlords that do not keep up those properties. We need to keep our Brooklyn Park clean and have it beautiful, as our Brooklyn Park 2025 stipulated. The second thing, which actually could be the first thing too, has to do with our property tax. I've been hearing this. I've proposed this, right before I started running. But as I go through door knocking, people keep complaining about their property tax. And they say that politicians come, but they do not, once they are elected, they don't do nothing. Well, I am a new voice to walk the talk with you. And I say what I mean, and I mean what I say. And I have stipulated on my flyer how to actually reduce these taxes. One is through elimination of waste. Applying innovation on how we do business in Brooklyn Park and creativity. Savings from that could be channeled towards property tax reduction. The second has to do with the police incidents and protecting our good cops and getting rid of the bad cops. One of the things that we face in Brooklyn Park is that when, we have a lot of good cops, but we need to keep them safe and protected. But there are some bad ones. And when those bad ones do something, the city has to defend them. And even when the city wants to get rid of them because they are bad cops, the police union will intervene. And that is why I am proposing for Brooklyn Park police officers to carry malpractice insurance. And what does that do? It takes the burden of liability from the city to the insurance company when a bad cop gets in trouble. We, the Brooklyn Park residents, will not pay for bad cops to continue to exist in Brooklyn Park. The liability will be shifted, and if the insurance company pays one time for a bad cop, the second time they will drop them. And if they don't have an insurance, they don't have a job. We don't have to go to police union to pay off a bad cop with our tax money. But the savings realized to that, which is a lot of money, can be channeled towards property tax reduction. The other thing I intend to do, I was at the budget meeting about 3 weeks or a month ago, and they were cutting and proposing, all of them except Mark Mader and Terry Park, who said that Terry Park said that it has to be zero increase, and Mark Mader said that it has to decrease. The rest, and also Russell said that they should come back with another to rework the plan. But the rest agreed to increase our taxes. Now,
Thank you very much.
There
Go ahead.
was no interagency resource sharing which could take the burden off of our budget and create innovation and creativity in how we use our resources. And that savings from that, again, can be channeled towards our property tax. Then our small businesses. We know that most of our people have small businesses. And rather than these businesses getting tax incentives, they are being pressured when they apply for licenses and things like that. With my plan, that will change. The same incentives that we provide to investors should be made available to our small businesses, who are the backbone of our city's growth. And not only that, we do not have a qualified contractors list, which will enable our people and companies that live and work and are located in Brooklyn Park to get on the list up. We'll make sure that people within our city, companies, small businesses within our city, get the opportunity to participate in those contracts. And that will create jobs within Brooklyn Park, especially the minority community. Now, my plan is not just for the COVID-19. COVID-19 is another issue that we need to deal with, which I have been proposing that we should have a public-private emergency and pandemic response team that meet on a quarterly basis. Since they don't have it right now, to start right away, to come up with a plan on how to address emergencies and revisit that plan on a quarterly basis. So when things like COVID-19 happen, we don't have to scramble as we are doing right now. As you can see, there are so many issues and challenges that we face in Brooklyn Park. The time is now. And now is the time to elect somebody, Benjamin Osenanam in the East District, to really start addressing this problem. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can we have Mr. Boyd now give the audience his challenges and his plan to, I mean, when elected as a member of the Brooklyn Park Council member?
Yes, thank you. Um, I'm smiling because I heard Brother Ben mention some of my proposed blueprints for my plans as representing City Council. The insurance liability for police officers is part of my 16-point blueprint that I have and submitted for transforming and reforming the police department. Also, the emergency response to ECW is a program that I also introduced where we begin to train our residents in emergency response team in the midst of a crisis and or a pandemic. We don't have to wait for those things to happen. We can transform them now and begin to implement some of those actions now. Just take this for a minute. If Brooklyn Park, we face, even in the COVID-19 situation, we one of the high risk areas for contracting COVID-19. Yet we don't have a hospital to take our patients to. So in order for us to get the service we need, and if all of our emergency responders are attending to some of our residents, it will be an ideal thing for us to have some ECW, our ECW, I call it Emergency East West Central Emergency Resident Responders team to actually go into play to help in those particular areas, begin to train them to give our own some opportunities to save our own and help our own. We have to travel out of our community to take any suffering individual to Maple Grove or someplace else to be treated. But just imagine if they suffer from the same thing. Where does that leave our people, our residents here at Brooklyn Park? We need to reach out to some of these clinics that we have here and begin to negotiate with them about having some type of emergency facilities there, or bring some type of new hospital creative management way here that offers these type of emergency services to be put here in the midst of some challenging situations that we may face. So the safety, welfare, and health of our particular community is been absent for a long time. It's not a conversation that people are talking. I'm just trying to bring common sense solutions, common issues and problems that nobody really addressing, just on the betterment on behalf of us. We don't have to sit back and wait for somebody to show us or be followers. We can be leaders and we can become pioneers so other municipalities can follow us as the pioneers that we are and that we lacking before we bring the new leadership that we need there. Because the ones that's here, the things that I'm proposing and have proposed, some of these people have been on representing us for years and years and haven't even introduced any of these things that I've presented here before today, from emergency responders, breaking it up into different segments of our districts, East, West, and Central. Also, from the transforming and reforming the police department. Matter of fact, I invited the mayor and city council members twice to have a conversation to see what's on the books, to see how we can get those things rid of it. I don't want my taxes going to police procedures where you can kneel down on somebody's neck and or you can choke somebody. We can change those things immediately. We don't have to have anything other than an agreement by council to implement an executive action to have those things done. Then we know that's not there. I don't want it there for me. I don't want it there for you or your family. These are some issues that we have to really address. More importantly, that we have to address is our diverse population that we have here. We're so fragmented. Until we begin to build that bridge and unite our community, make everybody feel welcome our community, we can continue to have that disconnection from our community through our city. Just speaking with realtors and after speaking with over these thousands of homeowners that I spoke to, 90+% of the people move to Brooklyn Park because of our diversity. And they move here because of our diversity. And that means we're getting it in our community. They get along with everybody in the community, but the big problem that we face here is the disconnect from City Hall to our community. There's no bridge of welcoming, inviting, and encouraging those particular communities of people to come together, to give us a forward together as the united city that we can be and begin to shape new stories by telling new stories and begin to write new chapters to tell us how we all began to come together, work together, build together, worship together, and we live together. So it's not foreign to us in our community. These are some things that's important to me. And also, let me also say this. I agree with my brothers there that taxes is an issue, homelessness is an issue, and all those things, but those been ongoing issues every election, and they still not changing under the administration that we have here. So I listen to the neighbors and residents out here, and we all still on the same page. So just because I don't say that or I'm not saying that, those are concerns of mine. But we know that's been ongoing. We all pay taxes, and everybody won't stabilize in taxes. We can't reduce taxes because we have a city budget. We can shift things around to make it manageable in some other areas for us to have a stable budget. We can do those things too. But at the same time, I commend them for what they're doing and what they're saying and the issues that we face here today and challenges that we face as a community. We can be pioneers and leaders as opposed to followers and begin to bring our diverse population of people to the table and make them included in that fabric that we try to weave here in Brooklyn Park. But I just can't do this by myself. Respectfully but directly, ask for you guys' support.
Thank you, Boyd. I'm not sure that you can hear me now. Can you hear me, Boyd? Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you. Can you hear
Okay, very
me?
good. Thank you. Yeah, good. So it looks like we're having a very serious technical difficulties today, being frozen back and forth. But let's try to get this going. Henry, do you mind coming on? And you guys have been talking about you as individuals, what you hope to do. But let's talk about the people you're talking to, the community. Why do you think the community should vote this time around? I think it's been described as the most consequential election of our lifetime. Why do you think it's important that people of Brooklyn Park vote yes for the city council, but also vote all through from the city council, the state, and obviously to the presidential level? Henry, let's start with you.
Yeah, thank you, Professor. Number one, uh, some of us we didn't come to contest for this, city council member for the sake of contesting. Because of my experience in the community and the challenges that I've seen our people are going through, I am part of those challenges. I have seen them. I have experienced those challenges that our people are facing. But as a person that has been, working with these people closely together, I know all these challenges. Like I said, from housing, public safety, education, our people, this is the most challenging experiences that I have in the community. With my experience that I have, and I said earlier, for the last 2 decades, I know how I can, fix these problems. I know how I can present everybody on the table, bring the issues and challenges that are facing our people. Number one, for example, I said housing. We know that everybody, when it comes to housing, it is very, very, very important. You must, sleep soundly so that you can get up tomorrow to attend to other, errands. You cannot say that, you can sit in the street, you can sleep in the streets or outside there, and then you go to school, and then you listen to the teacher. You can't get anything. Even at work, in your office, professor, you are a professor, you're a teacher. You can't sleep outside there, then you go outside there. Where do you even prepare for those kids that you are going to teach? Housing is number one thing. It is very, I can say it is very essential to everybody and our people, especially during this time. And I'm in quotes, especially at this time of COVID-19. They had lost their jobs, and it was a mandatory lockdown by the state and the federal. We need to have eviction moratorium that nobody should be evicted because he failed to pay rent. Number one thing, very, very, very important, and that one I can die for it. Nobody should be chase from the mortgage foreclosure, that the house is what is taken by the banks. No, simply because this is not their problem. They did not start these problems. We will want to have a conversation between the banks, the city, and the council to see on what the best way we can, leverage on all these issues so that we can make sure that we protect the citizens and residents of Brooklyn Park so that, they can have easier time and they can even have something like, how on they plan on how they can pay this rent whenever they begin the job. Even the White House, they issued a moratorium that no part should be fixed at this time because of the COVID-19. This is something that has come to everybody. It's not something that nobody invited. That's why I'm saying at this time, we want everybody to be protected. More so, that's why I'm learning. Our people, they don't know their rights, especially the tenants and even home buyers. This is something which was passed in 1965 by President J.F. Kennedy, and God forbid he was killed. Then when Lyndon Johnson came in, he brought this to the limelight. All these programs that we are talking about here, even lunch, these stipends, these after school programs, Lento, all these things were discussed way back in 1965.
Okay, so I think I have no idea why today we've had these many challenges. I apologize. I have no idea. So it looks like Henry is frozen. He didn't make his contribution relative to why people should vote. And then let's have you also, Boyd. We didn't give you enough time. If you could, collectively, why should we vote this time round?
In the midst of these controversies and challenges that we face, we have yet to see and or hear voices of people that's currently elected to serve us at all levels, which is failing us by all people, not just people of color, but all of us. When they remain silent, when they remain voiceless, when they remain absent from the conversations that we need to have to give us a pathway forward to unite our community, that's a problem. Those not leaders. Those are somebody following, waiting to give them instructions to lead them in the direction that they need to go to. And that's not leaders. That's not what we need. We need bold, brave, and courageous people that's ready to take center stage and emerge and become the voice in the face of those challenging discussions that we need to have, regardless of the odds, adversity, and challenges that somebody may face or how sensitive or delicate others may think that they are. Again, this is not Brooklyn Park 40 years ago, 50 years ago, 30 years ago, 20 or 10 years ago, not even 5 years ago. So things have changed and has evolved. So things that we need to do is to immediately begin to put the voice of the people at stake on the table to begin readily addressing, confronting those challenging issues that are living in true reality that will begin to unite our community, to give us a pathway forward together as one united Brooklyn Park. Because we can't accomplish any of the other things that we out there talking about when you got a fragmented community. In order for us to tackle disparities in any from homes or any of those type of things, you have to understand the challenges that the people go through, the diverse population of people that you represent. We can't continue to just arbitrarily think that we know what they want without asking them or inviting them to be a part of discussions. So we have to make sure we begin to unite our community to make everybody feel as though they're welcome. Embrace them for who they are. It doesn't matter what you look like, where you're from, what you sound like, or even your thoughts. What matters is that you're a human being, and it's time for us all as people to come together to invest in our vested interest of humanity and begin to seek the interest that we deserve and the rate of return on coming together and building a community that other municipalities can follow. It's without question, without hesitation and or reservations that we need to begin writing new chapters that tells new stories about our diverse community, about how we came together and began to work together and build together to create a city that begins to smile and one that waves to each other. So these are some things that we need to do. We need to do that by building love and trusting and understanding. First, listening to the needs of our community to build that bridge of communication to begin to understand who we are and what we represent, the uniqueness that we represent here at Brooklyn Park.
Boyd, as you speak, I see you're a brother from the other mother, and I think your relationship, your relationship with especially the African immigrant community in Brooklyn, is well known. I think over the last 2 decades that I've got to know you, you're really a brother to most of us, and so really very proud of you, and also happy to have you on. So let's talk about unity, right? Am I frozen again, Ben?
Man, this is terrible tonight.
Okay, so if you can hear me, that's fine. Let's bring then Benjamin. Benjamin, let's talk about unity. I think we all come from different backgrounds, different ethnicities, different nationalities, as you so eloquently put in your intro. Why do you think going forward as communities in Brooklyn Park, why should we unite so that we can tell our story as a people? Benjamin.
Thank you so much. As you mentioned, during my intro, I spoke about my experience when I moved to my house in 1992. What I didn't mention to you was that those individuals, those my neighbors, were all Caucasian. And remember what I said. I first reached out, mowed their lawn, and they say, you don't have to do that. I say, yes, I know, but I will do it. And then circle back to when I went for a request, just a suggestion on who I can hire. They offered to help me. And then the other in clearing my snow without even asking. That is love. That is love of God and love of neighbor. And that is what we need in our community to be able to move forward. Because with that love, the policies that we create, we will be able to look at it as a policy for all, not just policy for certain individuals. The contracts that we issue with love will lead us to look at all the businesses, both small and big, and be able to issue policies that make it possible for each of those businesses to get a portion of that pie. The love will drive us to look at the structure of the city, especially the city leadership, to see if that is a reflection of the communities they serve. The love of neighbor and love of God will make us or push us to walk the talk with the community by coming to them and seeking their opinion, not just organizing um, like a public hearing where nobody appears, because most of the time our folks work 24/7. That love that unites a diverse community will lead us to look at after-school program for most of our diverse community parents that work 24/7. Their children are at school, and after school, nobody to help their children with their homework. And sometimes some of them fall into the wrong hands and being labeled as criminals. The after-school program will make our parents, the parents of such children, rest assured that their children are in good hands and will have some people that will help their children with their homework. That love will also make us look at the various schools that we have and evaluate those ones that are underperforming and be able to shift our kids to schools where they will get real education. That love will also that unites a diverse community, which I've been talking about, will lead us to look at the parking tickets that are usually issued mostly to the minority groups because they work 24/7, and when they come to the apartment complexes after working, coming back at late night, the apartment, and they find a place on the street to park. And during winter, with winter emergency, their cars get towed and they end up paying a lot of money that they don't have. That love will help us look at ways to alleviate that problem. As an infrastructure system engineer and management, and having worked for Mindot for over 30 years, I have the solutions and suggestions to resolve those problems. And with love and unity among us, love that trumps hate and division, and with your vote, for me, that will happen. And that love is not just a love for a segment, but the love for all. And given the nature of things happening and this COVID-19 and the much hate that exists in our communities, we need to look inwards to reach out to our neighbor, no matter their creed, religion, or their nationality, and extend that love that I did when I mowed my neighbor's lawn. It might not be mowing lawn. It might just be a simple thing as good morning with love. And that comes back also as love to us. Love of neighbor, being a good Samaritan to each other, especially in this trying time that our country is so divided. And that is why I am running, to bring us all together from the city council, restructuring the city leadership and the city staff to reflect the image that they serve, to working in the community to revamp the love that we once had.
Okay, good. Okay, I think we have Benjamin there. Benjamin, thank you, Benjamin, again. Let's bring in Momani. I think, Henry, you've been quiet for some time. Let's hear from you. Why do you think, or going forward, how do we make sure that we unite all the communities?
Hello? 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 Hello?
Hear you.
I don't hear you guys. Hello?
Can you
Dr. Do
hear
you
me,
hear me?
Henry?
Oh, I can hear you. I don't hear the rest. What's
Yeah.
going on?
Yeah, we can hear you.
So, what was the question? Because I didn't hear it.
It was, well, I'll let the moderator repeat it.
And was
Professor.
it for me? Was it for me?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't hear it. What was the question?
Henry, can you hear me, Henry?
Now I can hear you right now. Yeah.
Okay, good. I think there's somebody who's trying to log in using the same information and disrupting the system. Please do not do that. Let's focus on this one for now. So,
Yeah.
Henry, I was just asking the last question going forward. We are talking
Yeah.
about how we are different nationalities, different ethnicities. Going forward, why is it important that we unite all these communities so that in the future we can talk as one people?
Am I frozen again?
No, I can hear
Hello?
you.
All right.
I
Thank
can
you.
hear you.
Because like now, okay, thank you. I hope everybody's listening. Anyway, thank you, Professor, for that good question. I'm sorry that we have been having a problem because I've been going back and forth to make sure that I'm in the system. This time around, we need all members, all people in Broken Park. It doesn't matter where you come from. Please, if you are a resident of Broken Park and you are eligible to vote, please vote. That's number one thing I can tell you for free. When you vote, you make a difference. When you vote, your vote counts. When you vote, your issues and your challenges, you make progress in that, because when you vote, you choose somebody or you vote in somebody who is going to represent your views or your challenges. And it is not good for you to sit down and keep on complaining when you are supposed to go for 10, 15 minutes, you vote, then you come back. All citizens and residents of Brooklyn Park, Brooklyn Park is a city it's a diverse city. We have got so many people from different countries. We need all of us going forward to come together and start the way forward. Come together, put our acts together, put our resources together, and start forging the way forward on the right way on how we can work together as a people for a common goal. The reason why I'm saying that is, in the next maybe 20 or 30 years coming, Brooklyn Park, we will be the majority. The immigrants will be the majority. And that is evidence, that I have as an outreach specialist, because I work with the numbers. I deal with epidemiology. I know the numbers that who is in Brooklyn Park. That's my area. And I can talk it for, even for 1 hour. I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, tonight, I'm appealing to you all, wherever you are. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter what tribe you are. Please, let's join together. Let's start, coming together, make unity to start solving our problems as one people. There is no reason of saying that no, I come from Kenya, I come from West Africa, I come from East Africa. No, we come from there, and it's important. But when it comes to solving problems, we must come together, form groups, form on how we can solve our problems. But when we fight it alone, when we fight it alone, we don't solve anything. And I can tell you tonight, I am from Kenya, and in my district, West District, the people that are voting for me or who may, make me be a council member are not only Kenyans. These are the whites, West Africa, East Africa, Central Africa, you name them, African Americans. And actually, they are people of goodwill. What am I trying to say? Let us try to come together on issues. We solve our issues together so that we can know how we can solve our problems. If we don't come together and, appeal to the common, community that, we live in Broken Park, I don't think we can have an answer. So that's why I'm offering my candidature as a Broken Park resident who wants to, I don't have all.
Mr. Benjamin, can you continue? Can you continue with your with that particular topic which Omanyi Henry has been actually talking about? Go ahead. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. The uniqueness of our diversity is exemplified just by my greeting with some of the from some of the African um, countries that are in Brooklyn Park. Just some. Now, when I said Amani Iwe Yahweh to my Swahili group, didn't that send a warm feeling to you? When I said Nabot Guara to my Somalian, didn't that send a warm feeling to you? That somebody is reaching out. And when I say Negenyi Esin Waji Hajiratu to my Oromo group, didn't that say give a warm feeling to you? Or when I say to the Vietnamese group and then they say in their language, or the Spanish group. You see, we are of one creation, and God created us to love each other. Each person comes with their own different talent, but together we form a force. And that is the uniqueness of Brooklyn Park. And that is one thing I love in Brooklyn Park when I moved to Brooklyn Park. And when I bought my house, that was what motivated me to reach out to my neighbors who were not of the same race as me. And once I reached out to them, there was that response pouring out. You see, sometimes when we harbor hate, The evil one takes control of us and puts fear in us. But a unified community is an engaged community in love, and it's a thriving community, and that is what I intend to do. Unify our community in love of God, love of one another, being a good Samaritan to each other. Say what I mean and mean what I say. Thank you.
I hope I'm not frozen again, Ben. And that's a closing statement from Benjamin. Okay, let's go ahead and give Monson a chance to make his closing statement as well.
Thank you.
I
Brooklyn Park, Brooklyn Park, to us all, black, white, brown, green, purple, it doesn't matter. Any shades of humanity. We cannot be afraid of our differences. We are all human beings with contributions to be made by all races, ethnicities, and groups, despite where you come from, what you look like, where you're from, or what your thoughts may be. Each one of us bring a different ingredient that can help shape the fabric that we're trying to weave here in Brooklyn Park to contribute to our growth and development, our maturation. We all must examine ourselves and our true and living realities of what we face and begin to understand that there are differences, and there are differences and disparities and hardships and experiences that we all are enduring here in our community. And each one of those elements is what we need to begin to embrace in order to sympathize and empathize with those who are struggling from things that we may not have ever struggled with, the barriers that one may face. We need to begin to remove ourselves from that particular situation and begin to open up our hearts and our ears and understanding to what others are going through. Too many of us today are so comfortable where we are. We relax, sitting in that recliner with a remote in our hand, with our favorite drink or favorite meal, watching our favorite program because it don't affect us. But if you live here, it affects you too. And if it's black issues that we're dealing with, if it's minority issues here that we're dealing with, just because you don't represent one of those classes of people, it still affects you because you chose to live here. And when you choose to live here, you part of that fabric that we trying to shape and or change here in our community. So you have to get in the game, because being silent, you just as culpable as contributing to the things that we face today. Your voice matters. You matter, we all matter, and you matter, and I care, although sometimes we may disagree, but doesn't mean that I don't care. If I can say this, and please don't misunderstand what I'm trying to say, and I'm sure if you really understand what I'm saying, you know what I'm trying to say. My wife and I have been married 35 years, and we haven't agreed on everything for 35 years, but we made it work for 35 years because we listened and we did things that we could do together to make this work for 35 years. Those are opinions. These are things that we have to put on the table again as we need to begin to unite our community by listening to gain understanding and actually hearing what they're saying. Remove us a little less of us and a little bit more of all of us. That's how we can begin to heal and begin to mend our fragmented community by facing our true and living realities that we deal with and that we're not dealing with today, with the absent voices and faces of our leadership today. So we need somebody that's bold enough and brave enough and courageous enough to begin to have those conversations that we're not having, that we need to have in order to give us a pathway forward together as one united Brooklyn Park. I was trained and prepared for moments of civil unrest, controversies, and challenges. And here I am once again, stepping up to serve you, your family, and this city, to become the voice and face of the conversations that we need to have. I just came ready to do this by myself. Respectfully ask for you guys' vote and support November the 3rd. common sense solutions to common issues and problems nobody readily addressing. Thank you.
Thank you, Boyd. I think I don't live in Brooklyn Park. I'm a very good friend to Brooklyn Park. A lot of my family members live in Brooklyn Park, and Brooklyn Park is the first place that I spent a night 19 years ago when I came to this country. So I love Brooklyn Park more than anything else, and I think Brooklyn Park is very lucky to have the three of you running, and I'm sure they won't let you down. So Henry, also a closing statement. You know, make your closing statement. Why should people vote, and especially why should they vote for you?
Yeah, thank you so much, Professor and the KTR TV. It's a pleasure to have us tonight to appeal to our people of Brooklyn Park, especially on my district, West District. I want to come to you in an honest way to ask for your votes. Sincerely speaking, I am appealing for all eligible voters who are residents of Brooklyn Park, West District. The, the elections are on. Other voting is on. Please, please, please. I urge you, I request you, make sure you vote. All of you, make sure you vote. Elections matters. Your vote matters. When you vote, it makes a difference. It doesn't matter who you vote for, but for this time now around, for City Council of Brooklyn Park, West District, I request you across the board, please vote for Henry Mamani, West District, as a council member. The reason why, and I can repeat it again, why you will vote for Henry Mamani is from my experience. I have a rich experience, and I've shared with you, not once, not twice. You know me better. I have been there with you. I've stood for you in all levels, in all challenges. We share together, we fight together. My experience speaks volumes. Tonight, I'm appealing to you as a candidate in the West District of Brooklyn Park. I know your challenges. We have worked together through this. That's why you need one of your own to be in there, to sit on the table where decisions are made. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, especially our people, immigrants, refugees, and people of color. Sometimes we don't take things serious. Sometimes we don't frontier schools, school boards, various, commissions where decisions are made, especially this level of council. This is the most important level, especially for immigrants and people of color, because this is where your decisions that matter, decisions that affect you are made. And when you don't have your own, one of your own, sitting on the bench where decisions are made, that means you are not there when it comes to services that are offered. That's why I'm appealing to you. I have evidence-based experience for the last 20 years, and I've been saying this. I've frontiered in all levels, you name it. Outreach specialist, are individual navigate. When people come here, I'm there for free. You can tell, and I'm not lying in before the TV right now. If you need anybody that can represent your views, represent your problems, tonight I'm asking you, please vote for Henry Mamani. My experience, as I said, in outreach, I know all the challenges. Our challenges are within the city. I'm telling you tonight, not even in the federal level, not even in the city level. Our challenges are within the city, where most of the decisions that are made affect us. Issues of housing, that's rental and home foreclosures or mortgages, education, property tax, and all this can be done if you elect me, because I know from the first day you elect me, the pattern that I press. Because number one, we need civic engagement. I will bring you the information that you need to know that voting is your right, and through voting, you can make your decisions or your challenges fit. Thank you, and once again, KTR TV, Professor Kari and Omeri, thank you for this opportunity. I hope we can continue engaging our people, and good evening.
Thank you. Thank you, Andy. Thank you. I think, to be fair, I didn't give Benjamin a chance to say his closing statement. So, in a minute, Benjamin, do you mind saying a closing statement as well?
Professor, Brooklyn Park is district. I come to you tonight to ask for you to vote for love, and that is me. We have a lot of challenges. I've talked about the affordable housing and the plan that I have for it, the expanded for the program, which also is part, has rental eviction, rent eviction, and mortgage closure referendum, as part of that program. I talked about the property tax, which I heard from most of you. And yes, I have specific plans on how to reduce it. I have mentioned the several savings that we can, I realize from smart investment in our infrastructure. What I didn't tell you was that currently the city has sodium highlight lights, which is, the light that the older light that we have, which uses so much energy. Just that one portion, we can replace all the city lights with solar LED lights powered with sunlight that will give us rebate from the power company, which could reduce our tax. We talked about the crime. What I didn't mention to you was my initiative towards zero crime and police incident in Brooklyn Park, which will make us look at every crime with serious lenses before it gets to felony, to determine what are the root causes of that problem, crime, and address it before it gets out of hand. I talked about reducing the incident by requiring malpractice insurance on our police officers and saving the liability. What I didn't mention to you also was my Employ Brooklyn Park job initiative, which will give the city and help us to include our diverse community in the city leadership and city staff. What does that do to us? You see, when we travel very far distances, we end up using the highway. And there is a congestion management mitigation fund set aside at the state level to reduce the volume of traffic on the freeway. With our Employ Brooklyn Park initiative and partnering with the other cities to do the same, we are reducing the volume. And with less volume on the freeway, that is less exposure, which is less accident, and help us to tap into the funds available for towards zero debt and congestion management. So it's, when you look at it, it's a win-win, and that money can be channeled towards property tax reduction. I talked about emergency money, public-private emergency, emergency and pandemic response team, and my brother Boyd, eloquently talked about the first responder as part of it. My portion, which I was talking about, is when we have tornado, we see this city scrambling. When area is destroyed, to relocate people. If you have a public-private emergency response team, they will have, this is will involve businesses in Brooklyn Park and the locals, the community leaders, and the city government. They will have a plan on where to relocate people, where to convert to hospital when our emergencies are filled. We will not be scrambling for that. And that is what I meant by my public-private emergency response team. It also extends to what my brother Boyd talked about at the lower levels. But this other plan we need to put together. Now we talked about the education, establishing an after-school program for our children that will help. And that after-school program, will be partnering with state to address something that is not even in my flyer, and that is a multicultural center in Brooklyn Park. You see, when you have an after-school program, the governor is so excited about education. He can sell the idea to legislators about the after-school program, but we can tack into that a multicultural center that will help our children know our origin. And also, something that I didn't talk about earlier was the Brooklyn Park streets turning into a racing track with no solution in place. I have my complete street mitigation strategies that will not cost us much, but address the problem once and for all. I have the background, and I have the experience, and I have the tools to make this happen. We talk about our small businesses currently being deprived, which is the backbone of the city's growth, that are being deprived licenses or contracts because we don't have a qualified list for all the contracts that are going out in Brooklyn Park. Okay, with that qualification and the incentive and license made available to our small businesses, the employment job opportunity will grow within. The tax base will grow. You see, the challenges are so much. The time is now, and now is the time to elect a new voice to walk the talk with the community, and that is Ben Osemenam. I plead with you to vote for me now and on November 3rd. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you. You know, the good thing, Benjamin, when you're talking with politicians have a lot of good points, and they're very passionate about those points, and they want to talk. So, right? But here's what I think. Here's what I'm seeing. What I'm seeing from my end is that Brooklyn Park is really a very lucky city. The fact that it has through extremely good-hearted, kind, intelligent, hardworking men who I believe the people of Brooklyn Park are going to really rally behind you and elect you. In fact, the people who haven't done that, they should. And then once you get to the office, hopefully you guys will be able to do what you promised to do. And I think it's important that we do that. So again, I want to thank you. But first, I want to make an apology for the technical hiccup we had today. It looks like towards the end of the show, it seems to be running fine. We apologize. Sometimes with technical difficulty should be expected. But my kind request is that as soon as you guys are elected, the first place you should go to celebrate your victory, you should come back on our show so that you can talk to the people. And that's the best we can promise. And we'll do that for free, so you won't pay when you come back. So again, I want to thank you again, Benjamin. Thank you for a great job. You're doing good. And thank you, Boyd, my brother, our brother. I think you're a friend to the immigrant community here that is known. We appreciate you. We'll find you an African name pretty soon here. And Henry Momanyi will do the same. So Henry as well, thank you. You're an excellent community organizer. You've done a fantastic job over the last 2 decades, not just the Kenyan, but the African immigrant community here in the Twin Cities. So I just want to make sure that I say that on air. Thank you for all you do. Just know that the community is so proud of you and will always support you in all you do. Thank you. And with that said, again, so we want to thank you all. We also want to thank those who are able to watch us tonight. I think it's great, and I want to make a call for everybody. If you haven't had a chance to vote, it is time that you go ahead and vote, and I think it's important to do so. But before you do so, also remember to subscribe to our KDL TV on Facebook. Go there and just click, give us comments. That's important. Also, go to YouTube, click that subscription button, and that's the way we can grow. An important point to make is that particularly the African immigrant communities, that we need a platform like this where we can tell our story. If we don't have a chance on CNN or WCCO, unfortunately, our narrative will be driven by somebody else, which most of the time is a negative narrative. But if we have a platform like this, and then it's a massive opportunity for us to tell our story. That's the demographics change here in the state of Minnesota. I think over the next few years, probably within the next decade, we as the minority should be really able to tell our story in a most positive way. Hopefully that we can continue to talk about this. Let's share words within our communities. Subscribe to KDL TV, because our goal is not just Kenya, it's all the immigrant population and the minorities, and that's the best way we can tell our story. So again, I want to thank you. Tomorrow, I want to have on the screen here what we'll have lined up for you tomorrow. Tomorrow morning at 10:30 Central Time, we're going to have an interesting conversation with Sylvia Alexander from Concordia University. She'll be talking about the majors and programs that they are offering at that beautiful university. So please do join us tomorrow at 10:30 Central Time. Shortly after that, we're also going to have a conference that's much later. We are continuing that conversation around politicians running for political offices. At 12:20 Central Time, we're going to have Brad Tapke from Shakopee. He's been on the show before. Harden Hassan from Minneapolis, although she's be new on the show, she'll be on the show again. Sahara also been on the show before. She'll be here, and Representative Nur Mohammed, they will be on the show to talk about what pretty much Benjamin Henry and Boyd have been talking about. What is it that they're doing, and what are they doing as they drive voters to vote within the next 10 days. Also tomorrow, we also have lined up. We'll be talking about Kenya international students in the diaspora. So we have lined up a number of extremely distinguished professors within the Kenyan community. So Professor Jesse Mushahi from Indianapolis will be on here at 11:20 Central Time. Also, respected Professor Cherono Rotich will be on here with us. Also, Janet Mbaha, professor from Alabama A&M University, she'll be on the show. Also, respected Professor Bita Diahangui will also be on. So we encourage you guys, everybody watching, do join us tomorrow so that you really engage in this conversation. And as we do so, we very strongly encourage you to continue giving us your thoughts and feedback. I think that's the best way we can grow as a people. The goal is that we should be in a position, hopefully within the next decade, that we, as the minorities and more particularly the immigrant population, we should be able to be speaking on the common voice. I think that's the best we can grow, and that's the best we can grow and create a generation for our children and grandchildren. So again, for now, thank you so much for tuning on KDL TV, and we thank you very kindly for your continued support. And I want to thank my colleague, Benny Kibato, is working very hard from behind the scenes, and Collins and others on behalf of all the entire crew here on KDL TV. Thank you. We'll see you again tomorrow at 10:30 Central Time.